So it's Purim morning, and we know that the main simcha of Purim is, as the Megillah says, "La Yehudim ha'isa oida v'simcha v'sasim v'ikar oida zu Torah." If every day of the year there is a chiyuv of Gisa b'yom of alayla, there should be a special emphasis that on the day of Purim you should spend some time to learn. So I'd like to share with you a short Dvar Torah, a short halacha, which seems to be that we allow ourselves to do on Purim, yet there is a halacha that we should know. And that is, the Ramah mentions in Shulchan Aruch that many people have the custom to, on Purim, to get dressed up, wear costumes, to look different than they usually look. And that is has a lot of ramifications, has halachic issues of shatnez, of layil bash, but obviously you're not allowed to break the rule. You have to just dress in such a way where the halacha permits. So when I thought about that, I figured let's review a Gemara and a halacha about a person dressing himself different, presenting himself different than he is. And it all starts with the Gemara in Maseches Sanhedrin, and the Gemara over there goes on. Gemara Maseches Nedarim, and the Gemara goes to explain if you're allowed to present yourself, announce who you are. If a Talmud Chacham is allowed to announce himself, or a person is he allowed to misrepresent himself, so people should think he isn't who he is. So the Gemara goes through different discussions, and then the Gemara in Nedarim Daf Samach Beis Amud Beis Amar Rava says, Shari leilit tzubar mirabanan. It is permitted for a Talmud Chacham Lemeimar, it is permitted for Talmud Chacham to say, Avda de Noira ana, that I am the Eved, I am a slave of Noira. I'll soon explain what that means. Layavina akargan, because of that, I'm exempt from taxes. Talmud Chacham be'etzem, we know, is pater from mas, pater from taxes. If he's being charged taxes, he's allowed to use an excuse that he's a clergy. But the type of clergy, Avda de Noira, I am the slave of Noira. What is slave of Noira? So Rashi comes along, and says, Avda de Noira, Eved shel Eved kachavan plenis. I am a slave to a certain Avodah Zarah, and because I am the slave of that Avodah Zarah, Eini roitze litn mas. I want to be exempt from taxes. That is Rashi's pshat. The Ran's pshat is that he's not saying I am a slave to an Avodah Zarah. That's too close to Avodah Zarah. I'm actually, says the Ran, Eved le'ish hu koyin la'ovdei ha'esh. I am a Eved, a slave to the person, to the priest who serves fire, the Avodah Zarah fire, sha'avadim pturim mikarma, because a person, all the avodim of the priest are exempt from taxes. Says the Ran, he explains it. He's sort of agreeing that he's a Oved of Avodah Zarah. He has part of Avodah Zarah. Says the Ran, v'lo yhaveh k'moed of Avodas Yechavim, because it's muchacha milsa. It's understood that the only reason he's saying this is to be exempt from tax, and it's not an issue. He's not saying that he is Rahman al-Islam Oved of Avodah Zarah. And then he comes in and says, the reason why he's saying this, the Haim Svurim, because the people listening think that he is a servant to Avodah Zarah, but really, what he means to say, Liboy la Shamayim, he means that I am dedicated to the Shamayim, to the Eibishter. About the Eibishter, it also says, Hashem Eish Oichla. The Eibishter is a burning fire, consuming fire. So the Yid said something, if the Talmud Chacham says something, which he means to connect to the Eibishter, it might be interpreted by the people listening different, then there is some room where he could say this. Now this is brought in Shulchan Aruch and Hilchas Avodas Elilim, Yeridea Simen Kuf Nun Zayin Seiv Beis. Asur la'adam loimer shehu goy. A Yid is never allowed to say that he's a goy, even Kedei Shelo Yargunu, even if they're going to kill him. To say, I'm not Jewish, I don't believe in the Eibishter Chas v'Shalom, I am a goy, you're never allowed. This is the theme of Purim. Yehudi, you have to be kofer b'Avodah Zarah. Aval, however, says the Shulchan Aruch, im kedei shelayakiru sheyu Yehudi. If for whatever reason a guy shouldn't be able to recognize that he is Jewish, mishana malbushai, he dresses himself different. Only b'shas hagzeira mutar. That's only in a time of gzeira, God forbid, where they're killing people. Sat kiddush Hashem, then you could dress yourself different, so the guy will come to the conclusion that he might be a guy. But you're never allowed to say, I'm not Jewish. You're never allowed to say, I'm not Jewish. You might dress yourself, and only then, only b'shas hagzeira. And the Ramah says, and that you're allowed to do could even be if you're dressing yourself in kalayim. V'afal gav, says the Ramah, even though you're not allowed to say that you are a goy, nevertheless, if you're saying something which is mishtama l'trei api, which has two interpretations, like the pshat I just read from the Ran, and the goyim will understand it what they want to understand, and you really mean something else, then it is allowed. Okay. Now the poskim go on to discuss, is this halacha that was mentioned from the Gemara? It says a Talmud Chacham is allowed to say things, act certain ways to exempt from taxes, and the Ramah and the Mechaber is talking about everybody. Number one. Number two, the Ramah, the Gemara is talking about dinei mamanis, to exempt from financial responsibilities or obligations. And the Mechaber and the Ramah are talking about shmad issues. So, and to everybody. So the halacha we paskin to dress yourself as a goy for and everybody thinks you're goyish, and you're even playing the role of a goy is not permitted. Even if it's to save yourself, as long as you don't say you're a goy. If you're dressing yourself or you're doing something, an act, that it could be interpreted in two separate ways. The guy will take it for whatever he thinks, and you will, your libe l'shamayim, then it's important. Then it is permitted.